Alright, welcome back to the channel. So, somebody in my life recently mentioned um, they would like me to do a video about uh, the girls and women of the world getting in shape and what that's like for them and what that entails. I've trained with a couple of girls in my life, like one's getting ready for like shows, and then casual train with a few girls who are just casually getting in shape and adding some muscle tone and reducing some body fat. And both times, um, a lot of the same results, same conclusions. And I kind of previously thought it'd be like this from the get go. It just kind of made sense, and instinctually it made sense. So, as you know, women are carrying more estrogen than us, and we are carrying more testosterone than them. Testosterone being what gives a man his secondary male characteristics, muscle and bone density and strength and the broad shoulders and all that stuff, and they're bigger overall and just stronger overall. And women having a more daintier frame, being able to hold fat better than men, being able to put it on faster, and leaning more towards not being able to put on as much muscle mass as easily as a man. So the protocol um, women and girls could go for is cardio is essential if they want to lose the body fat and then shape and tone the rest of their body as well. It doesn't make sense just to do a bunch of weightlifting and a bunch of squats, and I know all the girls love the squats and all these ass movements and stuff. That's great, but that's only one part to the car. You only got one tire on that car. With that, you need to do the diet and the cardio. You got to do everything to achieve maximum results, just like a guy has to do everything to achieve the maximum results. One of the big differences, though, is the woman has to work. If she really wants it, she's got to work her ass off, almost more to achieve those results that would be attainable for the man to get. If she's going for that like truly fitness model muscular look, it's a lot of work, a lot of cardio, and more than they think, and more than I thought, initially. But they really have to cut back their calories, and it's a huge calorie reduction. They cannot just pack away all the meals like as easily as the guy can, and it gets burnt up in the metabolism, and they can use it for energy so quickly. They can't hog down a bunch of pizzas and stuff. They have to eat pretty dainty, very sensible, light meals. They're not that big. If a girl's putting on muscle, and say she's even a taller girl, after she strips down most of the body fat, she's still only going to be about 130 pounds. It's hard to pack on, a lot of muscle on these little frames that these girls are carrying around. So she's expecting to put on some muscle and shed a lot of fat. It's an extreme amount of dieting and an extreme amount of cardio. I'm talking an hour every day of cardio. Maybe 30 minutes at night of cardio. And then in between, make sure that diet's perfect. A couple slip ups. It's so easy to put it back in with a cheesecake, or even with Quest bars and shit. Just eating it like if she ate 3 Quest bars with her day, those are coming in at 210 calories, 20 grams of protein per bar, about 38. It depends on the bar, but some like 23 to 38 grams of carbohydrates sometimes with these Quest bars. And it says sugar, alcohol, and stuff, but it does have an impact on your body overall. But if you eat 3 of those, they're all in the 200, 150, 200. If you eat 3 of those, you might as well have just had like a sensible meal. Get a steak in there, sweet potatoes, spinach or broccoli, or kale, some dark leafy green, and some good fat, some olive oil or avocado or something. You might as well just do that, and rather than have these, um, they have protein in it, but it has a different look on the body. Like it's just true. You eat all these whole foods and clean meats, clean proteins, and low fat, low sugar, high protein Greek yogurts and stuff, and high protein in general. And then you cut out all these heavily refined carbs and stuff. Even in protein bars, it's still a little carby. It can be, not it's not as healthy as it seems, but the more they're close to nature, that'll yield the best results. Girls got to work extra hard for that. It's not like the guys don't work hard for that. They just have a lot more leeway. If they could throw in that a cheat meal. Some guys, if they're really really pumped up, putting on a lot of muscle, close to the 200 pounds of muscle guy, they could throw in, a Chinese buffet, throw that in the week. That might actually aid in their assistance and adding some more meat on the bones. So, but yeah, like all I've seen from the ladies is like they got to diet down extra hard, and one little mistake and they kind of fall off the wagon. Unfortunately, I didn't make the rules of that one. That's Mother Nature, and that's your own metabolism. Every body is different too. We've all met that extra skinny chick that's she's already ripped and she doesn't eat that much, but she just maintains that very skinny frame. And if she did pack on 10 to 15 pounds of muscle, she could be a real threat on a bodybuilding stage or as a figure competitor or bikini model going out there, or just like an Instagram, baddie, just showing off how fit she is around gym equipment. She has that look, that's metabolism too. But the closer you are to actively using a diet that makes sense, genetics or not, you'll see the difference. And say somebody was not putting in the effort, but they had like some great genetics, but they're eating like shit. That'll show up. If somebody's really working their ass off that doesn't have the same amount of powerful genetics, they could catch up using their smarts and discipline and adhering to the diet and the water protocol and the cardio and getting in the damn cardio all the time. If they do that, they can make it happen. So hard work goes a long way, and with great genetics, I mean, you're pretty much unstoppable. Those are those elite powerlifters and shit. Like those guys are putting the super sharp mental focus to the test, having the discipline, adhering to the diet, and then some, being an absolute fanatic for their sport or their whatever they're doing, or bodybuilding or any of these things, and that's all of it together. You can reach huge levels, and on an average, genetics, whatever, you can still reach great levels if you are doing everything it takes. And I totally believe that it's not going to be world class, because that's obviously it's world class. There's divisions of shit, but you'll see the difference. At least be your best self. At least live for your some people never achieved any fitness goals in their life, and they want to, but they don't want to hear the inconvenient truth that it's like a lifetime thing going on. It's doing the same thing over and over. It's not glorious. Today's workout was not glorious, and it was agonizing. And that's what you got to put through to yourself and do a workout when it's not fun, and that's what builds the results. I remember one time getting this fitness competitor ready for an upcoming bikini show, and she got incredibly lean, and I give it mostly to, she stayed on the stair stepper, was doing an hour in the morning and an hour or 45 minutes in the evening, 6 days a week, and then taking one day off. Mind you, you can only do this sort of thing to yourself for while dieting down. You can only do this kind of cardio like that for maybe 6 weeks at max before you're not going to do it anymore. You'll end up getting burnt out, You'll be frustrated from the diet. You don't have any food. You don't have enough nutrients that you need to sustain a healthy, happy personality, and your interests will soon go out the windows. It's happened to me before. I was training for contests. You get a just bodybuilding uh, training burnout. It just happens because of the diet, really. And you're eating that low of calories to drop body fat incrementally over the course of months. It takes its toll when you're throwing in all that energy production that you're losing, through the cardio. You're giving up calories, and then you're eating a green salad and a chicken and only 65 grams of carbohydrates. You'll be frustrated. It works, and you'll think that it feels like you're dying, and you get shitty spurts of good energy, and then you dip, and it sucks, and you have low energy, and no matter what you do, you can just lay there, drink water, and you have to like just lay there and take a breath for like 5 minutes, and then you can finally get up again. It's wild, but that's how you get in that kind of shape. After the 6 weeks, you finally do a peaking process, and you don't have to necessarily do a contest for this. To do this, you can just do this as a goal and write it down and tell people, I'm gonna do a photo shoot or something. I'm gonna get ready to do. I'm gonna put on my dress or whatever. I'm gonna fit back into it. Whatever goal you're going towards, just make sure you make an attainable goal and land there, and you can still do the work in between and get those results. But after you do the 6 weeks, you can maintain it if you adhere to the diet at least 80%, and then you don't have to be chiseled or anything as a lady. It's not exactly that appealing, but I know they want to be toned with a flat stomach and a big ass. You can hold on to that if you just eat 80 to 90% good food, and 20%. It doesn't necessarily have to be junk, but it can be 20% of more empty kind of calories. They shouldn't, but they could get away with that after they got into the shape that they worked so hard for. You can maintain that, but once you lose the diet, though, if you stray too far and you have too many pizzas in a row and a Costco hot dog, and of course, ice cream Snickers bars and stuff, Haagen-Dazs. You got a Ben and Jerry's in your hands more than 4 times a week. Do not expect to keep that figure. That's just the truth. That's just the damn truth. This almost goes for anybody. You can hardly get away with that. There's about maybe a small percentage of the population that can get away with that, eating kind of shit like that all the time and still maintain lean body mass and good shape and not spill over on themselves. But that's just the truth. I think we all get that by now. We are seeing the conclusion of what fast food has done to America as a whole, and it's not pretty. It's not a good thing. I think that won't last forever. I really don't. It's bad. Just like overusing pharmaceuticals or overusing anything. It's just not good, and it's not yielding us good results. But that's what I'd noticed with the ladies training. They put on muscle mass slower, but it can happen. But when they really hone in on that diet and that cardio, along with the intense workouts, that's when I seen the best come out of them. But some of these chicks are just cardio queens, and they're in there and they're just doing do cardio for 35 minutes, and then they leave. They bounce after the gym, and they're skipping the weight portion. They're never gonna get that shape they're looking for. You may call it vanity or whatever, but you only get one vehicle in this life, as far as I know, and it's up to you to take care of it. Do what you can with it. Try to be the master of it, shape it, whatever genetics it's got possible, whatever muscle you can put on and get in shape for and feel comfortable in and stretched, and it's a working body, a body that really works in your favor, and it's yours, and you help harness it. You're the one that sculpts this thing. So do that, and don't skip the weights. Do the cardio as well. You only get so many good years at this. I'm sure by the time you're 60, and you're freaking 60 years old, probably not easy to do this anymore. Probably not easy to put on the mass. And I get to face that soon, coming up here in the next decades. We get to see medical breakthroughs in technology and science are helping us all the time, but you never know. You only get a crack at it right now, so do what you can. Adhere to the diet. Other than that, that's all I got for those ladies. I think they overdo it on the legs. They could do a little bit more upper body, just so they can have better upper body strength. But they all, they think just getting a giant ass is just the way, and it does look great. It looks fine. It looks good. But you could go for a more proportionate physique, a more physique that works for you, and don't neglect the upper body, ladies. All right. Odd Fitness, Tim Brennan. Have a good night. Signing out. I'll see you tomorrow.